I'm Chad.
I'm Dad. No, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be Dad first.
Oh yeah, you're Dad.
I'm Dad.
I'm Chad. And this is our channel.
Alright guys, I made a mess. Look at all the stuff that I have out. Plasma cutter and that sander, that desktop sander, came in really handy working with these big pieces. But yeah, got a super mess going here. And here's the final product. So I'm happy with it. You know, of course, you can always make it look better on a CNC, but I think I did a pretty good job. I probably should have taken it and used a brake, but I ended up taking a hammer and a chisel and just putting it here and hitting it with a ball peen hammer to get it to straighten out better. And this metal's pretty thick. It's 1050. It might have been an overkill, but I think it turned out pretty good. And so let's see how it fits. So there it is. So again, right there on the flange, I'm going to put 2 nut plates and put that in with some screws to hold it. And then I'm going to do idle clamps around the tubing here to hold it. And then I'm going to start laying out where the pieces are going to go, or where all the radios, boxes, and Garmin stuff is going to go. But I'm going to cut out another piece for over here at a poster board, because I'm still waiting on the idle clamps and nut plates. All that stuff's on order, so I'll tape it up probably, and then I can start setting things and seeing and tracing them out where I want them. But yeah, it turned out pretty good. I'm happy with that. And so on this side, it's going to be the vertical power unit. I'm going to mount that upside down, so I want to be able to get to that easily. So I'm going to mount it completely upside down. First, we were going to mount it on these pieces of angle iron and use idle clamps and hold it, but I really think that this plate, table, shelf, whatever you want to call it, is going to make things a lot easier. So there you go. I'm picking back up. I showed you guys that we were mounting the shelves, the aluminum shelves to hold the Garmin boxes, the GEA24, the GPS20A, the vertical power, and the radios and transponder. So I got those cut out, used the templates that I was showing you guys, and made a nut. No, let's see. So
over there. It's over there.
Oh, so here's the templates for the shelves. This is the pilot. Co-pilot. Oh, I need to put measurements for this. I don't know, every plane might be different, but so they set in like this. So that kind of gives you an idea of how much space there is. And cut these out first, make sure they fit, and then trace them onto the aluminum sheeting. And that's what you see here. So this guy I mounted this way. I mounted him underneath, and I did that for a reason. And the reason I did that is because I'm going to mount this transponder cage up under here like this with angle brackets, and that way the transponder can, if I need to service it, it can slide in and out of here just by taking off this, either this blank, or if we have a GD460, we can take that out and just slide the transponder right out, or we could actually just undo the screws and slide it out from the bottom. I didn't even think about that. So I'm going to have nut plates in here, so there'll be an angle bracket with a nut plate, and the screw will go up through here, so we could even actually take the 4 screws out from the bottom, drop it, and unplug it. So Don told me that this stuff needs to be accessible, because again, once you close this thing up and something goes wrong and you have to service it, you're going to have to get to it. So make it think it out and make it accessible and easy to get to. So I was just kind of reaching in here from under here, making sure I could undo things and get to things from under here and through here and so on and so forth. So we mounted, this is the engine monitoring for the Garmin. So all this runs out to the engine and monitors, you know, your oil pressure and your cylinder head temps and your exhaust temperatures, all that kind of stuff. And then this is a GPS box for the system. And I need to make sure that the coaxial cable is gonna, I may have to put this up on stands. Dad and I were talking about putting this up on, some of this stuff up on bushings, and that's just aluminum tubing. And that will get that up. That way I can get to this stuff back here. I'm thinking if I mount this guy flat, like that, the coaxial, if maybe I'll need to turn it like that. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just turn it. So another thing you got to think about is this is all going to be nut plated. Okay, so you're going to have nut plates under here. So you need to make sure that those nut plates don't interfere with this guy. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think, nope, that's going to clear. So we're going to have a nut plate right here and a nut plate right here. And then we're going to have a nut plate yep, that's going to be in the way. So I may have to put this guy on, I'll just have to put this guy on some bushings, and I'll have to drop it when if I need to service it. So I'll have to, yeah, because the nut plates are going to be in the way right here. I didn't even think about that earlier. So again, think ahead and think where everything is going to mount, and don't just start bolting things down, because you know you do A, B, and C and forget about E, and then you got to undo A, B, and C. So yeah, this is going to have to be put on bushings, so now it won't just slide out. Another thing you have to think about is, so this is the connector. You want to think about wire routing and keeping everything clean. So this connector for the transponder screws into the back here, and then you want to make sure that you don't put that connector into a bind. So you can't be too close to the firewall, because then the wires get in a bind and get smashed. So you want to make sure that you think about that as well. And then generally where all the wires are going, I just don't want a rat's nest of wires. I want everything nice and clean and not chafing or rubbing on anything. We decided to mount the radio in here, which is the actual radio tray. And we're going to put it on bushings, because your throttle and your mixture and your alt air will be here, and there will be cables running under, well, they'll be running right here. So we're going to have to put these up on bushing, or this radio up on bushings to clear those guys. So the radio fit there, and they'll be up on bushings, so it'll be sitting about right here. So that's a couple things I got to think about. My brain's fried for today. The vertical power is mounting over here on top, and again, I put my hand through here, make sure I could unplug these guys and get this thing out if it needed to be serviced, which it would just slide out right through here. And the battery, the backup battery, is going to be mounted backup battery is going to be mounted right here. So we used idle clamps and bolted everything to the tubing, and then here I bent this guy, put a flange on it, and then put a bolt through here. That gave that some supreme stability, and the fire extinguisher mounts up and underneath here, so now that's going to be supported very well. What else? service loop. So you want to have a service loop in case, or well, not in case, but whenever you have to take this panel out, you want to have enough wire to where you can pull it out and lay it out instead of unbolting it and not moving. You have to reach, then you'd have to reach under here and unplug all this and be a nightmare. So service loop and all this stuff that I have in here, like the zip ties and stuff, that's just temporary. I'm going to go back and fix all that. All this is going to have little ties instead of the zip ties, a little, forgot what they're called, but we'll put that in up there. And then I'm going to idle clamp a lot of these wires like under here, and these wires go into the engine. I just took an idle clamp and just clamped them, and then I'm going to clamp them here as well to keep them out of the way. So just putting some time in, working, trying to get everything figured out and where everything is going to go. And you know, I see that's the only pitfall of having this stuff wired by somebody else instead of doing it yourself, is you don't really know the lengths. So if I had it to do over, I would have bought all of the Garmin boxes and mounted everything where I wanted it. Okay. And then I could give the company that's doing the work, in my case, Pacific Coast Aviation, links, you know, give them a diagram on how everything's spread out, because like this guy right here, and I'm going to repin this, look right here. So this guy, see how much I've got right here? So actually I'm going to take this apart and cut out about 10 inches to where there's not this much, and then repin it. I'm going to do the same thing. May or may not do it on the vertical power. I would like to, because there's just too much extra wiring, and I don't like that. But other than that, a couple of little things. I mean, it just takes time and going over it and making sure everything is, you know, in its right place, because there's no instructions for this stuff. As far as, you know, where to place it and stuff. So anyway, that's what we've been doing. We haven't been working on the plane a lot, but that's what we did the last couple of days. Hopefully we'll see you guys at Oshkosh next month. If you see us, come up and say hi. Ask us about the plane. If you have any questions, any suggestions, come up. We'd love to talk to you guys. See you there. Hey guys, thanks for watching another episode of Dad and Chad.
If you like this video, share it with your friends and give us a thumbs up,
And never miss an episode of Dad and Chad by hitting that subscribe button.
because we'll be back next Tuesday with another episode.
Thanks again for watching
Dad
and Chad.